So today we are in an important meeting today with Lamya. We are going to speak about the relationship between children and parents. It's a very important issue to discuss. Lamya, could you please introduce yourself and what you do for business?
Hi, Noor. It's a pleasure being with you. I'm Lamya Mesbah. I'm an ICF certified parenting coach, and I'm also a teacher. I've been teaching for more than 9 years now, and I've been practicing coaching for a long while as well. That's all.
We are so pleased to be talking to you, Lamya, today. So my first question is how to talk to children. How should parents speak with their children?
All right. First, talking with children should be in their own language. I know that we all speak like if we are in the same family, we speak the same language. I don't mean literally the language, I mean their love language. And speaking their language, we must first know their love language. So let's just describe or explain كده quickly the 5 love languages. Professor Gary Chapman have this book. It's a very important book. It's called The 5 Love Languages, explaining all about the love languages for everyone. So let's go through them quickly. The first love language is the verbal or talking. The second love language is the physical touch. The third is quality time. The fourth is acts of services. And the fifth is gifts. So if we're going to explain how to talk to children, we have to first identify their love language so that we can communicate well with them. So if their love language is the verbal, for example, I'd be telling my child or my kid how much I love them through words or through written notes or things like that. If their love language is the quality time, I'd be spending more time with my child, or actually the consistency of spending time with my child is very important. Like I have to specify like 30 minutes a day to spend time, uninterrupted time with my child. The gifts also, it applies for the gifts. If the love language of my child is gifts, I'm not supposed to pay like enormous hate with them. I can just have simple gestures and give them to my child. What else? Also the acts of services, helping my child throughout their responsibilities and their tasks, their daily tasks. So if we're talking how to talk to our children, we have to identify their love language to be able to communicate well with them. And this applies to every other relationship, not just children.
So my next question would be, like a lot of parents are, let's say, complaining about conflict with their children, and the children are complaining that the parents do not understand them, understand their age, and understand their needs. How to avoid conflict, Lamia?
Okay, let me ask you, why should we avoid conflict?
Because it
What
pushes the two parties away. Sorry.
two?
Yeah, I mean the conflict pushes the two parties away. Like it is not a healthy environment to have conflict.
I'll have to disagree with this statement because actually conflict can be healthy. Conflict is a very good opportunity to understand each other. Like if I'm having a conflict with you, Noor, I would understand quite well what do you like and what do you dislike, right?
Yeah.
So conflicts are unhealthy in 2 ways, or in like there are 2 types of unhealthy conflicts. If it's aggressive, like if it's when two children, for example, are kicking and hitting each other, or the father or the mother, the parents, I mean, they are aggressive with their children. And the other way is if they are suppressing their feelings, like, no, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with me, and they're acting differently. Okay, so these are two types of unhealthy conflicts, but there is a there's a halfway here.
Okay.
We can have a conflict, and at the same time we can disagree about something, and at the same time we can reach a compromise. So this happens only when the parents are aware of that. How would they be aware of that? They must, at the beginning, know that conflicts are there and they must happen at any place, at any time. We are different, so we have to disagree at some point. So if we agree that we can disagree, then when the disagreement happens, we can like have a common ground to talk, and we can have a compromise. So the first thing the parents must do is we have to take time out to calm down, like to breathe. After we disagree, we have to breathe, calm down, and then talk when we are ready. And then when we start talking, the person who talks must have some rules. Of course, the family must set the rules of the disagreement. Like when we disagree, we don't say foul words, we don't shout, we express our feelings in the most respectful ways, and so on. After they discuss the rules, they talk together in a very peaceful way, and no one interrupts the person expressing their feelings. We try to talk our feelings out. Like, for example, I am angry because you took my one of my belongings, for example, without asking me or without my permission. So I have to mention my feelings first, how I feel. And then I start demand, or like I start requesting you of what I need. Like, please don't do this again. Okay, so we speak our feelings out. And then the parents, they are just guiding the conflict. If it's between the siblings, for example, or between two brothers or two sisters, they just guide it. If they are part of it, they listen. Listening is very important, active listening. I'm listening not to reply, I'm listening because I want to understand. Okay, so conflicts here are very healthy, because at the end of this conflict, one, I'm not going to do what bothers you again. Two, I know that if I'm having a conflict afterwards when I'm an adult, I know how I'm going to handle it without screaming, without kicking, without just being angry, and that's it. I know how to talk my feelings. It's a very important lesson, and it cannot be taught unless it is for the conflicts.
Yeah, that is awesome, Lamia. Okay, so my question here, how to build a positive relationship?
Okay, building a positive relationship with your child takes effort. It's just like any other relationship. If you are dating a girl, you will do an effort, right? You will go buy flowers. You will just buy her a gift, or gift her at any point. You will do some effort to win the girl, right? It's the same for the parents. If you want to build a relationship with your child, you must exert some effort. Know what they like, what they dislike. Talk to them like friends, but have the respect also and the boundaries. So I believe that parenting, or like being a parent, is just like any other relationship. Takes effort, it takes kindness, it takes every other aspect that you use in your other relationships. With your child, be firm and kind and firm, I call it. Like, be very kind, and at the same time have the boundaries. That's the best way, having a positive relationship with your child. And of course, I'll have to repeat the same thing I said at the beginning. Know their love language. If you know their love language, you will know how to communicate well. And if you know how to communicate well, you will have the best relationship.
Sure. So let's move to the next point. How does training help parents?
All right. Well, I believe awareness is very important. So, if we are talking about training for parents, as a teacher, I'm telling you, we can avoid a lot of problems if the parent is aware of his child's abilities, for example. So um, training for parents is like you are giving them the guide to dealing with their children. Okay, so if you're having, of course the example is so irrelevant, but if you got a new phone, okay, and you need guidance for just for dealing with this new thing that you got, right? So it's the same with your child. Your child changes at every stage, his personality, his character, the way he feels, everything. So you need to be very aware of the developmental stages, and you cannot have this unless it is for the awareness. Also, there are a lot of learning difficulties now that the parents and the teachers can avoid through awareness, like dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia. All of the learning difficulties can be avoided if the parents, or not can be avoided, let me rephrase the word, it can be dealt with properly if the parents are aware of it. So training for parents is everything.
So my next follow-up question is like, is parenting different now from the past?
Definitely. uh, like everything changes, also parenting changed according to time, technology, and everything that is changing around parenting changed as well. Also, the awareness, like the amount of awareness we have now in parenting is like huge. That wasn't there before. In the past, it was my way or the highway parents. Uh, it was their famous way. But now, of course, not. Kids are different now. Technology changed everything. Students now or kids now are more aware of everything that is happening around them, and this makes them more rebellious. And there are a lot of challenges that the parents must keep up with. And that's why your question is very important about the awareness and the training. That's why the parents must be always on the move. They must know that is happening, and the challenges, how would they keep up with it. So of course parenting changed a lot.
Okay, so let's go on with the role of parents with the current pandemic COVID-19. How should parents cope with home stay?
Okay, let me tell you first, I'll call it an advice. uh, Please try to limit the screen time for the kids. I know that every single parent around the world, they want their kids to just back off, and they want to have some time for themselves. So they just tell them, okay, go sit on your phone, or just play on your phone, do whatever you want, and just give me time for myself. Okay, they're trying to avoid their kids nagging, or their kids like noise or anything. But this is very dangerous, actually. So we need to limit the screen time for like 40 minutes maximum a day. And if it's less, it would be better though. So we try to limit the screen time because it's really dangerous nowadays because of what's happening, and sometimes we have to stay home for long times. So that's really important. The second thing is we try as much as possible to take this as an opportunity to get closer to our children. Like before COVID-19 and before the lockdown and all of the changes that happened, we used to stay away from our children, like long hours working outside home. But now we have the opportunity because we can stay with them longer. So why not we have some activities together? Why not we apply all of the love languages that I was just mentioning, and try to apply them while we stay home? Talk a lot. Talk a lot with your child. Talk, talk, talk. Talk and play. It's the like the motto of parenting. My parenting motto is talk, play. You talk with your child a lot. It's like magic. Ask them questions. They like to be asked. um, Everyone likes to be asked, likes to be cared for. So if you ask your child, it gives them the message of, okay, he's curious about me, or she's curious to know more about me. Okay, so that's really important. Talking, playing, having some time. The consistency of having time with your child is very important as well during this pandemic.
So my next question here is a very important one for parents and for school as well. Can parenting training help with lack of school achievement on the side of children?
Yes, definitely. That's the part where I mentioned the learning difficulties, and sometimes parents are like, my child is careless, and he's a slow learner, and they label their children, and then when they discover that their children, for example, are diagnosed with ADHD or ADD, they're shocked. They feel like, okay, now I'm guilty. I feel guilty because I used to blame my child for not paying attention, for moving a lot, and for being careless, and now it's out of his hands. And also the learning programs differs according to this awareness, or based on this awareness. So you cannot deal with something that you do not know. So of course, if you're asking me, training would help um, in learning difficulties, or in learning achievements. Of course it can help. If you're asking someone to do something that he is not capable of, definitely he would never be able to do it. So learning more about our children in this area, or in this aspect, can save them, actually. Save them and save the parents who are struggling with their children, who are not studying and who are not focusing, and so on.
Yeah. It has been more than a pleasure talking to you, Lamia, today. Thank you so much for your great ideas indeed.
Thank you, Noor. It's been a pleasure too. Thank you.